When the slaves were freed during the Civil War, they found new opportunities for their music to grow. By the late 19th century, many African Americans had settled in New Orleans, a city that had been founded by the French and embraced immigrants from as far away as Spain, Germany, Ireland, and the Caribbean. In New Orleans, different cultures not only lived side by side, they melted together, each adding its own flavor to the cultural mix. Before long, blacks began blending their own music with a variety of styles around them. The fusion they created would become known as jazz.
Jazz draws upon the African-American influence, which is predominant, but you also see these other influences coming on board. New Orleans had a great history of classical music. The number of opera houses and performance venues there were enormous. You also have that heavy Spanish influence with all the Latin music, both from the Spanish settlers and from the Caribbean. You mix that in with the other people coming there for trade, for business, for leisure, and you've had a unique opportunity to mix all these musical styles.
Early jazz musicians reveled in the open atmosphere of New Orleans, where music was played in barrooms and street corners for everyone to hear. None loved it more than a young piano virtuoso named Jelly Roll Morton.
They all mingled together as they wished to, and everyone was just like one big happy family. People from all over the country came there. There were most times that you couldn't get in. This place would go on from 4 o'clock in the morning at a tremendous rate of speed, plenty of money, drinks of all types, till maybe 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the daytime.
It was a great environment, and the musicians there, like Jelly Roll Morton, they soaked up the sounds around them.
Of course, you got to have these little tinges of Spanish in it in order to play real good jazz.
He heard the Latin music that was permeating the local environment. Jelly Roll was the individual that best forged all these elements together. He was in the right environment that allowed him to take his own traditions, his own African-American traditions, the sounds that he grew up with, and then bring all these other American sounds into the mix.
The mixing of styles in jazz produced music like nothing that had been heard before. But fusion was only part of what made jazz unique. The early jazz masters, Morton, King Oliver, Sidney Bechet, Louis Armstrong, not only borrowed from other styles, they improvised their parts, creating new melodies spontaneously as they played.
If you listen to some of the earliest jazz musicians, for example, King Oliver, he had a solo called Dippermouth Blues, which was very influential. If you look at it notated, he's only playing 2 or 3 notes over and over again. But when you listen to him, it's tremendously vital, it's tremendously exciting.